People of all genders, welcome to this video in which we're gonna take a look at the M48 pattern, simply because since the 9.1 update, this one received a buff, and maybe that currently it's worth playing it. To summarize briefly, the only thing that changed is the horsepower of the tank, which means that you are gonna go to 48 km per hour regularly, but faster. And trust me, even if it doesn't seem like too much of a difference, it really does in battle, and this is exactly what I'm about to showcase. In order to tell you why the M48 pattern is worth playing, you need to understand what this tank can do that the others can't. And the answer to this is pretty simple. It's quite the best tank in terms of hull down. Not because it has the most alpha damage, not because it has the most armor, simply because if you take both the gun, mostly the gun depression, plus the armor profile of the turret, even if it's not the best, because the best would probably be either the STB-1 or the T62A. But those two combined, it's the only tank from the tier 10 medium branch that is featuring 10 degrees of gun depression with such a badass turret. And of course, all of those makes this one, when played correctly, a beast. And on top of that, now that Wargaming allowed it to go a little bit faster, you can get to the positions you took earlier, or at least before the update, faster, making it finally, in my opinion, a good tank to play on the front line. And this is exactly what you are currently seeing, because with the M48 pattern, even if most players will tell you that it's not worth it and that maybe an STB is going to do the job in a better way, at least the M48 pattern, in my opinion, is the STB for newbies, because this one, you will not get punished for every single mistake you make compared to the STB. Look at this, for example, here, against the AMX-50B. I took a shot straight into the turret, and it bounced. I took a second one from the 100 straight into the turret, and it bounced as well. If I was playing something else, I guess, or I think that I would have been getting penetrated. Now, there is one question that remains about this tank. Why would you play this one knowing that a lot of tanks in the game are possibly better? In my opinion, two answers are possible. The first and most obvious one is that with this tank you actually have the chance to play something a little bit different. It's always nice to change from tank to tank and not play all the time the same exact medium tank. And at the same time, there is something I forgot to tell you about this tank, but out of all the mediums, it's also the one that has one of the greatest view range. And with the view range this tank currently has, if you want to play it aggressively like I did at the beginning of the game, while spotting the enemies from across the map, you will be able to. Which, in my opinion, makes this tank the only medium that is good at both attacking and supporting your teammates, which makes it quite a versatile one in definitive. Of course, you could argue that the 350 alpha damage doesn't make it worth it enough because the DPS is not as good as on other mediums. You could also argue that the gun depression is just average compared to other mediums. But if you keep comparing that tank to mediums again and again, you will always find good sides and downsides. So just take it for what it is: a great tank to spot, a great tank to hold down, and therefore a great tank to have some fun with. Now, one last thing, or the second one last thing I say in this video, but the M48 pattern, as it's not that much played, is an easy tank to get an ace tanker on, which means that if you enrich it, or even if you want to play tier 10 while making some credits, you should definitely get yourself an M48 pattern, because you get to the ace tanker pretty quickly. Just take a look at this game, for example. 4k damage, 3.5k assisting damage, a total of 7.5k damage combined, which gave me the ace tanker and a lot of credits. On top of that, something I forgot to mention about this tank though is that if you equip it with the attachment, the special attachment, which is called the Commander, you will be able to hide kind of the cupola, because people tend to shoot, I don't know why, at this part thinking that it's a weak spot. And knowing that we're going to have a lot of newbies at tier 10 and that we already have a lot of newbies at tier 10 because of Wargaming's decision to give out free boosters to pretty much everyone, every single battle pass, you get a lot of people that don't have a clue what they're doing at tier 10 that will try to shoot this thinking it's a weak spot. So in definitive, try it. That's all I have to say. And for the people that think that the M60 is a better tank, because obviously when you take a look at both of them and you compare them, the M60 is equipped with a better gun, even if the similarities or the differences between the tanks are more similarities than anything else. I would tell you that right now, currently, the M48 Patton is a faster M60, and the M60, in order to compensate for the lack of speed compared to the M48 Patton, will get a better gun. Of course, one last thing, you get 50 kilometers per hour maximum with the M60, whereas with the M48 Patton, you get 48 kilometers, which theoretically makes the M60 a faster tank. But in reality, as you get 60 more horsepower on the M48, you will feel like your mobility is better with this one, even if you like the two mighty kilometers to get yourself to 50 kilometers per hour. So, in order to summarize that video and to end it, I'm gonna tell you this. If you already have the M60, you don't necessarily need an M48 Patton, but if you have the choice between buying an M60 and buying an M48 Patton, go for the M48 Patton because it's a free tank and both tanks are literally copy-paste. Hope you enjoyed. If that's the case, you know what to do. Tell me your opinion on the tank in the comments and I'm gonna see you soon for a new video. Bye.